Hey guys, just want to jump on here and talk about some sad news that we just learned of in the past day or so. Obviously, look, if I sound a bit under the weather here, I'm sick at the moment, so I just had to do a video about this. TNA ECW legend Sabu has passed away. PW Insider had the following report, quote, PW Insider is extremely saddened to report that former ECW World Champion Sabu, one of the most vibrant, groundbreaking professional wrestlers of his era, Sabu, real name Terry Brunk, has passed away. This broke yesterday, and look, I didn't believe it initially. I was on the way home and I'm like, oh, terrible. Luckily, we don't normally get stories like this very much anymore. When you're in the wrestling media, doing a podcast, working on a wrestling website, whatever, there would have been a time there a couple of years ago where you get stories like this. And with the exception of, the sad passing of Bray Wyatt and Brody Lee, we don't really get these stories anymore. Sabu was only 60, but he had his retirement match there 2 weeks ago, and we were watching it, and it was actually devastating to see because he was in such bad shape. We talked about on the show that looked like he could die in the ring. And look, we were two weeks out, so it's just sad. It really is. It's awful, and then you have people like Ric Flair coming out going, I want to wrestle in the ring, and you're like, no, man, enough's enough. But that being said, Sabu's legacy for me, as a fan, I'm a huge Sabu fan, I always was not in ECW really. I mean, that was self-evident. But for me, I really loved his TNA run. Remember, I'm a huge TNA fan. I have been since near enough day one. And the period that Sabu was on fire in wrestling outside of ECW was in 2005, 2006. 2005, he had like a ton of fantastic matches with Raven, Rhino, Abyss. And then in 2006, he'd have a great match with Joe. And then we'll go over into the revived ECW, WWE ECW. And look, I mean, like it or not, I'll start there. Like some people, like a lot of people don't like the revived ECW, and look, I mean, that's justified. But there were some high spots. And I thought Sabu's exposure to the wider sports entertainment world was very, very cool. I mean, seeing Sabu versus John Cena, I think it was at Vengeance or Night of Champions, I can't remember. Actually, no, I think it was at Vengeance, Night of Champions. It was the same pay-per-view. It's just one of the coolest matches ever, just to see John Cena in there trying to wrestle a Sabu match is very neat, You had a cool match with Big Show on ECW as well. That was fun. But he never really clicked, it never really worked out. And it wasn't Sabu's fault, really. It's just that whole brand wasn't going in that direction. And that's why I'm saying if you wanted to see the best of Sabu on a larger platform, it was in TNA. So TNA actually put out, and their YouTube channel's great, they put out a video of Sabu's most extreme matches in tribute to him, obviously. So I'll link that in the description below. But look, here's some matches that you need. Sabu and Raven versus Rhino and Jeff Jarrett from 2005 at Sacrifice. Sabu versus Abyss from Unbreakable. The Monsters Ball match from Bound for Glory from that year. And then there's two more matches from Genesis and Turning Point. But look, the real winner out of all these matches for me, and I'm so glad they put it in, Sabu and Samoa Joe from Lockdown in 2006. One of the best cage matches you'll ever see. We actually were going to cover it on the show. We just never really got around to it. We might work through this list at some point, but that match is great. Sabu has a broken arm, legitimately, and Joe just goes to town. It's really, really good. But look, that list is going to be in the description below. Again, folks, I'm quite sick at the moment. I just couldn't let this pass without doing a video and saying again, condolences to Sabu's family. As a huge Sabu fan, I didn't want the whole narrative to just be on his ECW work, because while that's great, TNA was where he shined for a lot of people. Do watch those matches, and look, leave your comments below what your favourite Sabu match is, what you think about the TNA matches, And again, please do like, subscribe. That really helps us. And we'll talk to you in the next one. Thanks, guys.